Hello everyone, welcome back to Dibya classes. So now we have completed chapter 1 and we studied about the history of Java, the characteristics of object oriented programming and its difference with procedure oriented programming, and we did few board questions. And now we'll quickly move to the next chapter, chapter 2. Okay, that is the Java world. And now we'll be learning about the Java environment. In the last class, if you can remember the picture, we flew to the Java island. We saw many things about the Java island. And now we are staying there. We'll be staying there for 2 years in that island. And now we'll be understanding our environment in more details. So let us start the Java world. We'll learn the Java environment. So, what is the Java environment is made up of? So let us first learn what our own environment is made up of. So this is our environment where we live. This is you and this is our environment. Our environment has many things. If you see out of your window or you go outside, you can see trees, animals, buildings, vehicles, roads, plants, right? Street lights, other human beings, including your parents, your brother and sisters, right? And many more things in your environment, including stars, moon, sun, right? Many. Your Java environment also look like this. Okay, in the Java environment there are not trees or animals or buildings, but yeah, something like that. Some objects you can say. So similarly, our Java environment has something like this, something like a tree, something like animals, something like buildings. Not actually trees, animals, buildings, but something like that. And this are known as tools. And these are known as tools. Now let us come to the definition. The definition says the Java environment has a number of developmental tools and hundreds of libraries. So how this is a tool in our environment, the tree? First we'll understand that. How animal is a tool, how this building is a tool, and how this car is a tool, how human beings are tools. How are these tools? And these are developmental tools. Okay? Okay, first let us understand how tree is a tool. Why do we use a tool? Tool like a hammer. Why do you use a hammer? To beat a nail inside a wall, something like that, right? So here the tree is also used as a tool to develop something. To develop what? To develop furniture, to develop paper to write. Can be used as shelter. That is also kind of tool. When it is raining or it is sunny, you sit under the tree. It is used as a shelter. For fruits, tree also give fruits. So it is used as a tool to develop. Fruits, to develop yourself you can say. It will give you energy. So you are developing yourself, right? Animals, they give you milk. If it is cow, it will give you milk. If it is a goat, it will give you meat and milk both. Buildings, you stay there, shelter. You go to school, education. You go to mandir, masjid, church, everything. And that is nothing but it's giving you spiritual knowledge. Car, it is a tool used for transportation to go from one place to another place. You have plants, you have roads for transportation, you have street lights for visibility at night, you have human beings for different kinds of help and interaction. So all are used together to develop yourself. Okay, if nothing is present in this environment, you are alone. You cannot develop yourself. How will you develop yourself? You will be just standing like that. You have no one to interact. You don't. If it is raining, there is no shelter under the tree. There is no animal or plants which will give you food to eat. How will you survive? How will you develop yourself? So to develop, you need many tools that will help you to develop, and these tools are known as developmental tools. And similarly, the Java environment, to develop Java means we'll be writing Java programs, right? We'll be writing Java programs. To create Java programs, we need certain tools, and these tools are known as, these tools are nothing but Java developmental tools. Okay, developmental tools to create Java program. I will give you another example. For example, you want to create paneer butter masala today. You want to make paneer butter masala today. So what tools do you need? You need, first of all, ingredients like paneer, cream, onion, like all the ingredients. You need utensils, kitchen utensils like kadhai, wok, right? You need a spatula. You need a gas stove, or induction cooker, some induction machine, something like that. So that all these tools will help you to create together. All these tools together, not only one. You cannot use only kadhai. You need paneer and other ingredients also, right? All these tools will help you to create paneer butter masala. Not all the tools that are present in Java development, few of the tools, not everything, because there is a tandoor machine. So what will tandoor do in creating paneer butter masala? No use of that right now. Or you may not use a pressure cooker right now. Okay, there are many more tools which may not be used in doing paneer butter masala, but out of many tools, you will use few of the tools to create paneer butter masala. Similarly, to create Java program, there are many tools, and you will take the use of few of the tools, of the bunch of tools that are present, to create a Java program. And also in the definition it is written that has number of development tools, that is fine, but also hundreds of libraries. So what is a library? It is also present in a school. It contains, or it is a collection of books, you can say. Library is where you will find all the books. What does books contain? Information, knowledge. Knowledge of what? In this case, knowledge of how to use that tool. If you don't know how to switch on the gas, if you don't know how to keep kadhai on the gas, like you will keep the kadhai like this, upside down, right? And you will keep paneer on it, it will not work, right? Yeah, so something like that. The knowledge or information on how to use the tools is present in the library. Okay, the Java environment contains two things. You can say the Java environment contains two things: the tools and the libraries. The tools which will be used to create the program, and the library which has the information on how to use these tools to create the Java program. How to use this tool to create the Java program. For example, you have a hammer. The tool is there, but you don't know how to use the hammer. You will go and hit someone's head. Is it used like that? It is used in WWE, not in real world, right? WWE is just a real world. They are acting. Okay, there they can do like that. It is all fake. But here, we will not use the hammer as a tool to hit someone. You will use to hit a nail into the wall. Yeah, something like that. So you should know how to use the tools, which we will be learning. All the tools and how to use the tools we will be learning in chapter 3, the most important chapter of our Java programming course. Okay. So now let us move forward. All these developmental tools are part of the system known as Java Development Kit. So all these tools of Java are present inside a kit. Kit like cricket kit. In the big bag you can see, if you have seen, your friends might have joined some cricket club to learn cricket. The kit contains all the tools which will help them to play a cricket match, like bat, ball, stumps, bells, helmet, body protection parts, and many other things, right? So if the kit doesn't has a ball, how will you play cricket without a ball? Or it doesn't has a bat, how will you play cricket? So all this kit, all these tools are present inside a kit, and according to your need you can take that and play. For example, you are playing with a tennis ball, you need not need a helmet for that, okay? And if you are playing with a deuce ball, yes, you need a helmet because it needs more protection. So the Java Development Kit contains many tools. It contains many tools, out of which you will use it to create Java programs. And the tools, the area where all these tools are present, are known as Java Development Kit. The question may come in board exam for 2 marks or 1 mark. What is JDK? You have to write the full form. The JDK full form is Java Development Kit. It contains all the tools. But Java environment also has libraries, right? It also has libraries, because you need to know how to use the tool. You need to know how to use the ball. You need to know how to use the bat, or else you will be bowling with the bat. You will throw the bat. No, you will be throwing the ball to the batsman, right? So you should know all these things, how to use it. So the classes and methods are part of Java Standard Library, also known as Application Programming Interface. So what is class? We have already studied in chapter 1. It is a collection of similar type of object. A class is a collection of similar type of object. And what is an object? It is a self-contained unit of data and code. So all this object has some data and code, right? So ultimately we can say that the class has many data and many code. That is nothing but knowledge. Data is information, knowledge you can say, right? You can say it is knowledge. So class is nothing but, it is your knowledge. It contains the knowledge how to use the tools actually. It contains the instructions of using the tools, when to use the tools, how to use the tools, right? In form of methods. And these are part of Java Standard Library. So we can say that, like JDK contains the tools, we can say the JSL, Java Standard Library, contains the library or the knowledge of how to use those tools. The knowledge of how to use those tools is present in Java Standard Library, also known as Application Programming Interface. You should remember this full forms. It might come in your board exam. It has already. Okay. The next we'll study about Java bytecode, also known as object code. Before going into this in details, okay, first let us see a small story. So there was a guy A, and he is in love with a girl B. Okay, he is in love with a girl B, and he wants to propose her. But the problem comes, this guy knows only Odia and this girl knows only Malayalam. Now how will they communicate? Okay, he communicated. He told the girl in Odia, Mu Tamaku Bhala Pae. In Odia. which means in English I will say you, I love you. So will that girl understand B? B girl understand? No. B will not understand because she knows only Malayalam. And this guy A knows only Odia. How to communicate? Okay. Here a third person comes, C, whose language is Hindi. Okay. Here Odia, Hindi and Malayalam are the mother tongues. Odia, mother tongue of A, Hindi, mother tongue of C, and Malayalam, mother tongue of B. But the good thing is C also understands Odia and Malayalam. So our brain works like this, that when we learn a new language, for example, I say something like in English, I will say okay. So somehow the brain convert this in our mother tongue first, because this was the first language we learned. So okay means thik achi, fine, right? It will get converted automatically in our brain. So what will happen now when A says now to C, actually he will tell to C and C will again tell to B, mu tamaku bhalo pae. Please tell her that I want to say mu tamaku bhalo pae. So he will first convert it to Hindi. C will convert it into Hindi, that is in Hindi it will become हम तुमको प्यार करते हैं, हम तुमको प्यार करते हैं, हम तुमको प्यार करते हैं. And he will convert this to say in Malayalam, I don't know Malayalam, so let it be XYZ, which means I love you only. In all the three cases the meaning is same, I love you. So here there were two processes. Process 1, conversion from Odia to Hindi, and process 2, conversion from Hindi to the final language, that is Malayalam. Here this is called the source code, this is called the byte code, and this is called the machine code. The code here means the language. The Odia is the source code language, Hindi is the byte code language, and Malayalam is the machine code language. Okay. The process 1 from conversion from byte source code to byte code, right? From Odia to Hindi, from source code to byte code, is known as compilation. And again from byte code to machine code, another process. This process is called interpretation. This is called interpretation. The same kind of thing happens in Java. Okay, same kind of thing happens in Java. The Java has three types of code: source code, byte code, and machine code. So first the source code is converted into byte code, and next the byte code is converted into machine code. So first we'll understand the diagram, then we'll go back to understand the definition of byte code again. So here you can see this diagram is called the Java compilation process. You should remember this diagram. So in the Java compilation process, first comes the source code, and the source code is nothing but it is the Java program. Whatever Java program you are going to write, okay, whatever the Java program you are going to write is known as the source code. The source code is converted to a language that is known as byte code, and the process is known as compilation. Okay, and this byte code is converted to the final code that is called the machine code or the machine language. Okay, so it is a two-step process. The compilation is done by a small machine kind of thing that is known as the compiler. The compilation is done by a small machine kind of thing that is known as compiler, and the interpretation is done by another small machine which is known as the interpreter. And in Java especially it is known as the JVM. We'll learn about this more. Java Virtual Machine. The full form of JVM is Java Virtual Machine. So it is a two-step process from source code to bytecode, and again from bytecode to machine code. So why is this happening? So this is your Java program. Okay, and this is your machine. Your machine has its own language. It is in binary form like 100101011011010. It is an electronic device, and electronic devices understand in this language 1001 binary language. Okay, and the Java program is written kind of in English, right? So actually the machine doesn't understand it directly. The machine doesn't understand it directly. So what you have to do? You have to convert it to machine language. This is you. For example, this is you, A, and this is that girl, B, right? So here it has to be converted by third person C. First he will compile it, and then again he will interpret it. So here what will happen? This will get converted to this language, and again this language will get converted to language of C. From language of A to language of B, and from language of B to language of C. Language of A is known as source code. That is nothing but your Java program is your source code. Okay, and this is bytecode, and this is the machine language or the machine code. Okay, this is the final destination which actually want to make your computer to understand. If you will not understand, then how will she say yes or no? Yeah, फिर I will think of it and tell you later. Okay, something that also happens. So for that you need to make her understand, and there are two-step process. First is compilation process, and the next is interpretation process. The compilation process is done by the compiler. The interpretation process is done by the interpreter, or also known as the Java virtual machine. Now we'll go into details. The first comes what is bytecode, also known as object code. So Java programs are both compiled and interpreted. We talked about Java programs, that is your source code, is first compiled by the help of compiler, and again it is interpreted by the help of Java virtual machine, the interpreter of Java. The Java compiler, the work of the compiler, that is the first step here, the work of the compiler. Okay, the first step is it translates the source code into the language bytecode, which is an intermediate level language. Intermediate level language matlab the language that comes in the middle, intermediate, बीच में जो आता है, intermediate level language. Okay, the bytecode is independent of the machine language and it runs to give the result. Means it is such a language, bytecode. This person C, he is such kind of person who knows all types of machine language, kind of thing. Okay, it knows all type of machine language. So what is machine language actually? Different operating systems. If you have learned about operating system in class 6, 7, 8, there are many operating systems like Windows, Linux, Mac, Apple OS, you can say Macintosh. Okay, everyone has a different sort of languages. They created differently, and therefore they have different language. Like there are three girls, One girl knows Malayalam, the second girls know Telugu, the third girls know Marathi, something like that. Okay, but this guy C has the capability of converting his own language, that is Hindi. His own language was Hindi, right? So he can convert his Hindi language into all different types of machine languages. Means this guy knows Malayalam also. If your girlfriend is Malayalam, he can help you propose her in Malayalam. If Telugu, he can do it. Marathi, he can do it. Bhojpuri, he can do it. He can do in all languages, kind of that. Okay, that is the power of a bytecode person. Okay, he can interpret in all different types of language. That is the power of JVM, Java Virtual Machine. It can be interpreted in all types of machine language. The Java is created like that. Okay, so therefore it is known as independent of the machine language. Whatever may be the machine code of the final person, the bytecode can easily be converted. Hindi can be converted to any different types of language, something like that. So now the next part, that is Java Virtual Machine. Compiler, what it did, it converted the source code to the bytecode. Now the bytecode need to be converted to the machine code so that the actual person understands, the computer, the machine actually understands. So that is done by the interpreter, where in Java it is known as the Java Virtual Machine. The Java Virtual Machine, JVM. Why such a name? Why Java Virtual Machine? Such a name is given. I will make you understand. JVM. M for machine. What is a machine? A machine. All the machines in this world, maybe automatic machine, maybe manual machine, has three processes: input, processing, output. For example, you want to drink, for example, sugarcane juice. The input is sugarcane. The processing is their machine, which will help you to bring out. Right? There is a machine which will crush it, and the output is a glass of juice. The input, processing, output. Printer, electronic machine. Input is your paper. Here it will scan, it will print through that ink, and the output is a paper with printed things. Okay, some writing, some drawings. So all machines work here like this. Similarly, JVM also is a machine. So what is the input here? Bytecode is the input. JVM is the machine. Bytecode is the input. It will process it, and output is the machine code. So here, input, bytecode, processing, it will do the processing, and output is your machine code. Therefore, JVM is called a machine. Why virtual machine? Because it is not present in a real world. You cannot touch it. Like you can touch a printer, you can touch a sugarcane machine, right? It is both available in manual and electronic means machine form, not automatic machine form. But here it is a virtual thing. You cannot see it, you cannot feel it. So therefore it is known as a virtual thing, like games. Say for example, you are playing PUBG. It is not happening in real world. You are not killing a person really. It is happening in a virtual world. So that is known as a virtual machine. Therefore it is known as virtual. Why Java virtual machine? Because it is the machine of Java. Therefore it is known as a Java virtual machine. What is his actual duty? His duty is to convert the bytecode into the machine code. Okay. To run a Java program written on another system, its bytecode need to be transferred to its own machine language and runs it to give the result. Once the machine understands, okay, when you convert it and make the machine understand, it will give you the result. Result means here the girl will say yes or no or letter. Okay, if she will not understand, how can she reply that what you are telling? So first, source code to bytecode, who will do it? Compiler will do it. Okay, then again this bytecode will get converted to machine code. Who will do it? The interpreter will do it, and the interpreter of Java is known as the Java virtual machine, and this is the whole process. Okay, you have to remember this diagram, the whole process, the Java compilation process. This is known as the Java compilation process, the Java architecture of how Java does the process of converting the source code to the final thing, that is machine code. The source code, which is your Java program. All the Java programs you will be writing in class 9, 10 are known as source code. This will be converted to bytecode by the help of compiler. And this bytecode will be converted to different machine language. It can be converted to Linux. This is Linux language, the logo of Linux. It can be converted to Windows. You are familiar with this, Windows operating system, Microsoft. And it can be converted to Macintosh or Solaris or Android operating system or iOS operating system, also mobile operating systems. Okay. And that is done by JVM. I will show you in the BlueJ where we will be writing Java program. You can see when I open this, you can see there is a big program. Okay, in class 10, you will learn this program. Okay, we'll be learning this program. This is answer of a board question. So here you can see all these writings. I marked a yellow here. Yeah, this is nothing but this is the source code. You can see here it is written source code. Here you can see compile. Yeah, when I click this compile, you can say compiling. See, it is writing compiling. So here what is happening? Class compiled. Here what has happened? The source code, this program has now been compiled. And now when you can see this red box. This red box, the compilation has been done, and this red box, this is object. Okay, this red box is the object. This now contains the object code, that is the bytecode. Bytecode is also known as object code. So this yellow box had the source code, but now this red box contains the compiled version. The compiler has converted it to the bytecode, and now the bytecode, or also known as the object code, is present in this red box. Now when I run this program, okay, when I will run this program, I am running this program. I will giving some input here. And you got a output. How you are getting the output? Because the computer understanding that what you are telling me. So when we click the run here, when you click this one, void main I have clicked, you will not understand this right now. Okay, actually I executed the program. Now the work of JVM came. The JVM did what? It is very fast process. Okay, you will not see it. It is virtual. It converted this bytecode that was present in this red box to the machine code. And when the machine understood what I am trying to say, it gave me the final result. The customer name. Okay, it gave the final result. So when we will be writing the program, when we will first write the first program, again I will make you understand that how everything is working in this compilation process. Now we will move to the new topic, types of Java program. So there are two types of Java program. One is Java standalone application program, and another is Java applets. So all the programs we will be doing in class 9 and 10 will be part of Java standalone application program, not applets. Okay, an application program which reads from and writes to the files present only on the local computer are known as standalone application program. And applets are Java programs that are executed in a web browser like Internet Explorer, Mozilla, Chrome. Okay, this can only access the source of a remote system. Now let us understand. What do you mean by this? The programs we'll be writing. For example, you are writing a program in your school. You wrote a program in your school. You did in class 8 also, like Java programs and all. And now you opened your computer at home. Will you find, for example, you have written a program A. Will you find that program A at your home? No, because you had written in your school computer. How can you find in your home computer? So these types of programs are known as Java standalone programs. So it will be present only in that computer where you write the program. You cannot find it in another computer. Okay. But another person, he writes a program B in a school, but when he comes to his house, his home, the same program B is also present, because here B is nothing but it is a applet program. So if you write an applet program, you can also transfer it to your home computer. Okay, you can also find it in your home computer through the help of networking kind of thing. We'll not go understand what is networking, not in our syllabus. Okay, and networking means nothing but you can simply understand internet. For example, WhatsApp program. WhatsApp is also a Java program. I told you in previous classes. Okay, it is a big Java program, you can say. Not only Java, many other languages are used to create. Okay, you are using WhatsApp, means that is available in your mobile, in your father's mobile, in my mobile, everybody's mobile. WhatsApp program is there. The person who created WhatsApp came to your house to create the program? No, he created in his house, but still it is available in your mobile phones. He has created in some country, but it is present in your India, in all the countries, in your mobile phones, in all computers also. You can use WhatsApp in your computer also. How? Because these are Java applet programs. These are Java scriptings. These are Java applet programs. But we will be not doing these types of programs in class 9, 10 and also in 11, 12. But you may be using when you will be developing softwares in future, when you will be doing your job, or you're creating your own company and you want to create some software, that will be applets, because you want to share with others. Standalones are not made to be shared. Okay, applets are made to be shared. That is the main difference. So all the programs we'll be writing now will be all standalone programs. So it will be present wherever you write. It will not get transferred to another system automatically. But applets, even if you are at your home but you had written the program in your computer, the Java applet program, you can still access. Okay, that is called accessing from a remote system. Remote system means away from the actual system. Actually you had written here, but now you are using from your home. You had written in a school, but now you are using from your home. So this is known as you are accessing from a remote system, from a different system. Okay, so if it is standalone, it will be present only in the computer where you write. But applet, even if you write in a different system, you can access in other system also through the help of web browser. Because actually first Java programs were written for the web browsers. In web browsers you can see the small animations and all. Somehow these are also written in Java applets. Okay, but for example, you are accessing Dibya classes, there are animation. I have created this small animations in my home, but still you can access from your home. You can access my videos and everything. So all these are done using kind of JavaScripting applets. Okay, Java applets. So next we'll move to the final topic of this video, that is IDE, Integrated Development Environment. Okay, what is that? Integrated Development Environment. Okay, very simple to understand. So for example, You want to create food, you want to make food. So where you will do that? In your kitchen? If you want to make food, you have to do in the kitchen. You want to participate in a dance competition. Where will you dance? On the road? No. There will be a stage where you will perform your dance. Right? Similarly, you want to create a Java program. So you need a place to create that Java program, right? You need a place to create that Java program. That place is known as IDE, a place where you can develop a Java program. That place is known as Integrated Development Environment. Okay, the place where you will be creating a Java program is known as IDE. So here stage is kind of a IDE. Your kitchen is kind of a IDE, an Integrated Development Environment. An environment, a place where you can create a Java program. So why that environment? See, kitchen, you want to create food. To create food, you need all the ingredients, all the kitchen utensils and everything, right? So all the tools are present in the kitchen. If you will go to the bedroom to cook your food, you will find the tools? No? And without the tools, how can you create food? We talked about the Java environment. We're talking about the same environment now. So to create a food, you need a beautiful environment, a suitable environment, right? Where you can create food. To dance, you need a good environment to dance. When you dance, the lighting should be good. There should be loud and good music. There will be smoke while you dance and all. You know how they create the environment of dance so that the dance will look more beautiful and enjoyable, right? So similarly, the Java has to be written in a platform. It is a platform, right? Where you can find all the tools. Without the tools, how can you create a Java program, right? How will you develop a Java program? So an environment where you can develop Java programs is known as a development environment. And integrated means all the tools present in JDK, all the libraries of JSL are integrated here. Integrated means you can say those are connected with the platform. Okay, like stage is nothing but it is just a platform, but many tools need to be integrated, like the lights, the speaker system, the smoke system, okay, some props, some drawings and everything has to be integrated, has to be implemented, has to be attached to that environment to make that environment more powerful. So all these tools in JSL, all these tools are present in JDK and all the libraries are present in JSL. So all this has to be present in that platform. And combinedly, this is known as an integrated development environment, a suitable environment to create Java. And there are many suitable environments to create Java. For example, in our board, the board is told to use BlueJ, an application, a suitable environment. It is a suitable environment where we can write Java programs. There are many other suitable environments where you can write Java programs like Editor Plus, like Anaconda also you can write Java programs. Okay, even other programs like Python you can use using Anaconda, but I have seen people writing Java programs in Anaconda also. But now we'll be using BlueJ, this one, BlueJ, you can see BlueJ. Okay, so we will be using this environment. We will learning about this in future classes. Okay, and this environment, this application, it is itself an application, is known as an IDE, an integrated development environment. Similarly, there are more examples of IDE like BlueJ, Visual Basic, NetBeans, and all these IDEs are used for different purposes. For example, you want to write a letter in computer. So how will you write? You'll be using MS Word, right? You want to create a presentation. How will you do? MS PowerPoint. You want to draw something. How will you do? MS Paint. You want to edit photos. How will you do? Photoshop. Adobe Photoshop. Okay. Similarly, you want to write a Java program. How will you do? You need BlueJ. You want to write basic program. You have already studied basic program in your previous classes, class 7, 8. You might be using GW Basic or QBasic, right? The QBasic and GW Basic are nothing but these are IDEs, Integrated Development Environment. So for today's video, we'll stop here, and next video we'll go forward with chapter 2. Okay, and we'll learn about the characteristic of Java and the types of errors in Java program, which is again very important. Questions come in board exam from this. Okay. So I hope it was a nice learning today too, and so let us meet soon. Thank you.